Okay.
E você, a maluca da vida, e você, a minha fantasia, e você, desnorteada da briga, e você, a minha
Okay,
perdição.
hello, so welcome back to this talk show, this video cast, with the goal of spreading environmental awareness. Today we're going to talk about why should we care about indigenous people or native people or aborigines or original people. And this talk is brought by Sumako Nyawi, which is our forest restoration project, and to create also wildlife corridors in order to connect wildlife, of course, and preserve nature. Also, Shiripuna Lodge, which is a lodge in the middle of the Amazon, surrounded by miles of forest, no electricity. You still use candles in a world where there's electricity everywhere, so you're not connected with nature anymore. So this is a very special place. And finally, Cerveza Itinerante, the best craft beer in Ecuador, no doubt. If you're in Quito, you're in luck because there's delivery service. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna talk about indigenous people here, but today also we have these awesome special guests. Today, it's just great to have them. Both of the guests that we have right now, they practically live with the Warani people, with indigenous people. They work with them pretty much all their lives, years with them, and they are expert naturalists. So I am proud to just be with them and talk with them for a moment. We have Jorge Jose Fabre and Caro Fernando. It's great to have you here, guys. Thank you for joining this talk show. So the subject, guys, is why should we care about original populations, indigenous people? This even the term, I think is racist. I just heard an old conference from a dean, an ex-dean, Nelson Reascos from Catholic University in Quito, and he was pointing out that just the term indigenous, it's racist because it comes from the Greek without home or poor or not having anything, an indigent. And also even also the term aborigine as well. It means also ab origin, without origin. So even if we don't even know how to call them without being rude, we don't know where they're like that's how impregnate the racism about indigenous people. How should I call them now? Like maybe just call them their names, the regional names there where they actually come from. Maybe any of you would like to kick in about this, guys? Would like to jump in with this subject, maybe?
Okay. I think a good start. Every time that I've been working, and I noticed that um, I I kind of use this term. Obviously, I didn't create a term. I didn't invent a term, but I just like to refer to them as original people. Though calling, I think also this quite accurate to call the cultural group by their names. So if we're gonna talk about Quechua, well, it's not that they're indigenous Quechua. No, they're Quechua. Maybe in the case of Quechua,
Right.
you want to emphasize the fact that there are some Andean Quechuas and there's Amazonian Quechuas, right? But I will use that. I will refer like Sionas, Sequoias, uh, Waorani or Waos. What do you think, Harold? Harold?
Great to be here with you guys. It's an honor to be sharing some good talks with Gabo, with Jose, and and I just love the fact to be here and to bring up this topic about people that are from different places that over the time that we've been calling it differently. And I think is I agree. Each people has his own name, and they should be called by their own name. So in time, and then try to call them all of them and put them all in one place. I don't know what will be the best terminology that will be used for them. Maybe natives in a way, the native for one particular place. That would be
Right.
more.
Native from where though? Because we are
Or
Yeah.
native from maybe from Quito, from
guys,
Merida, native from Ecuador, right?
what about true Americans in the case of people that belongs to the
I
Americans,
like
to the
that term.
Americans,
I
true
I read it
Americans?
before somewhere. It was called the term Amerindian because it's a
Yeah,
mix.
but don't forget one thing, that the reason why we started to call them, or why we called them till recently Indians, it was because of a mistake
Yeah,
committed
Christopher,
by
Mr. Christopher Columbus. He thought
committed
he landed in
committed
India.
exactly committed by the conquistadores, because they thought that this was some part of India, right? So for me again, if I have to say something, I will call them true Americans, and that encapsulates all the people from Alaska all the way till Patagonia, you know.
Yes.
So
But what about we don't have only native people only in America. We also, for example, what about
oh no,
the
that's but
Aborigines in Australia?
that's what I'm saying. That's what they should be called. True Australians, true New Zealand, true. Well, in Africa, that's a different situation. But true Australians, yeah, because the most of these societies they were conquered by other groups, right? The case of the Americas, not Europe, but the case of the Americas, the case of Asia, and the case of Africa, and yeah, they were conquered by uh, European societies, and that's the moment when these societies they started to use these terms to refer to these people, right?
Right, that's
So
where the races pretty much started. They just
yeah,
they just
exactly,
came to this
exactly.
world, this new world, and they just everything that they saw, they just couldn't saw the paradise that it was. They just couldn't see the technologies, the advances that they had in their own way. So
Uh-huh.
they in that way they had to come with racism and with
Yeah,
destruction pretty much, right?
don't forget that other thing. Historically, since European societies, because of several things like technology, germs, and well, technology basically, they were able to conquer other societies. This is we we've been using Western world, the Euro-center vision of the thing. Don't forget that for centuries. This is since who knows where, probably 15th century or 14th century. I'm not sure. I'm not quite clear. I think it's 15th century. We started to use this term, and we started to use this vision. If we are Europeans, we are, and we tend to do somehow to diminish even to these days. We still diminishing the people there, these people, not only the people, but the knowledge. If they have something to say, you see, the situation in our country is the same,
Right.
right? On every level, at political level, at every level, every single statement in the society.
Right. In the case
Mhm.
of our in the case of our own country, it would seem like it's good to have them only when they're dancing, when they're
Yeah, it's
showing
like
us their folklore and things like
yeah,
that. But when they're revolting, when they don't like something about the government, now our government doesn't like it, and this is
yeah,
just the case of Ecuador, right?
yeah,
Because in
yeah.
other cases, if we
Well,
maybe something what would like to jump in. What is this? What I think is just like we it's all again. It goes all back again because we just don't know because out of ignorance, we just don't know what they even gave to us in the past. You know what I mean? It's just like, for example, we owe to them potatoes, we tomatoes. Uh, what else we owe to them? we
But
capitalism is started in America, and people don't know when the mining started in Bolivia, in Potosí, and in the mines in Mexico. All the
mhm,
gold that was taken by the Spanish, it was spread out to the world, so the Spanish can pay for their cannons and their army and their technology to continue their exploitation, their horrible things that they did, the conquest in
yeah,
America.
Um,
With that gold, they spread all over. That's how we started capitalism and so many other things, right, guys?
yeah, um,
yeah, I would like to add and kind of go back to the mainstream of this conversation is why we should care about people that are native from each region where they are living today. Because, in my understanding, is the people where are still are in different level of evolution in their own society and their own way of living. So we have the most basic organization like hunters and gatherers. So
yeah,
Ecuador still enjoys the possibility of going back 12,000 years in time and go back and look how people used to live in those days. That is the beauty of it. So we have that here in Ecuador. We can go in 10 hours and we can see people that are still living like the Stone Age, right? So
mhm,
if we keep going a little bit farther out, we will find people that are a little bit more organized. They are kind of a little bit away from hunting and gathering, and they have a society that is a little bit more complex, where we will see now that the other the other needs like hunting, the resources of having a great soil for farming, now they are kind of one group of people will take control over that place. And then we can go over the Quichua people, Shiona people, Sequoia people, the Shuar people, and so on. And we can go over the Andes and we can see all these different people having different levels of evolution in their time. So I think that is not. We should be aware of that, where each group is in their evolutionary time of their society. Because right now we are living this super digital era. We are the civilization that we've been lacking of. That we are stepping into a new dimension of reality. It's digital. So, but if you go like 10 hours away, let's say to the shore people, and you will figure out that they are not. They are still living and they're still believing there is a lot of connection with the forest, which it still is, but that connection is more strong than people from the city, people from other countries will feel. So, keeping in mind why it's important to keep these people still in the process of keeping their old habitat as healthy as possible is our biggest investment, because we can save and we can go back again there and learn from them. Because what we can do is, when we preserve live cultures, we are preserving a huge library of knowledge about medicine, knowledge about spirituality, knowledge about food, knowledge about our own history, knowledge about our own disease. So keeping local indigenous people alive is our one of the biggest investments that our society can do today for future generations, to keep this diversity of ethnicity, this diversity of food, this diversity of knowledge is very important to keep every single native people alive today, living in their own land, living in their own environment, and believe in their own traditions. I guess that is what we should focus, and what every effort that we have in our hand should be pushing towards that goal, and protecting them, protecting with their environment.
Right, right. So pretty much today we should care about indigenous people or native people or any natives because they are nature guardians, forest guardians. Uh, right. Another.
I
I
will,
think, well, going back to what is because when the racism that comes with them is because every culture is ethnocentric, right? Every culture believes that they're the true. The Greeks thought they were anybody that didn't speak Greek was barbarian. Same with the Aztecs. If nobody, they don't speak Nuhatl, I think is their language. They also were not part of the people. Our own Guaranis means the people. So today it's very important because they all became forest guardians. They want to preserve their forest because they just don't know how to live like us from the city. They just know how to live from the forest. Another thing that I would like to that I noticed, guys, is the language, which is what this book right here. If you let me show it to you, this is about Wade Davis, a very interesting book. In here, he talks about the language, how just the language is should be important enough to protect these people,
yeah.
right? Because it just creates like a window, a way of seeing things differently, a way of being different. You're able to be 1,000 ways depending on the nationality of the people, right?
Um, I would like to add something to the both interesting the things that you said, both of you guys. Um, I think that a very uh, crucial, essential part of the fact of preserving these societies, for me, from my point of view, from my experience, yes, definitely, Harold, you're right with the information, the knowledge. You are right, Gabo, with the addition for to our society in terms of products and technology in terms of agriculture and things like that. But for me, it's something that is essential that I learned through my stay, uh, and it really cost me a lot to understand this. Is the point of view. Yeah, to be able it's just fascinating. I think that would be the main reason why we should protect these people because they have a different way to understand the things. If you guys, you two guys, you've been privileged like me, being able to live to spend time with these remarkable people. And for me, again, the way the simplicity of how these guys they see the thing I just love that. I just love that, and that's for me. That for me is the cornerstone of 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 this idea that we're trying to set up to preserve, to protect the people. Um, they, I always every time that I have the chance, I've been doing some talks, not lately, but I've been doing some talks, and every time that I got the chance to talk about my experience living with the Waorani, Um, I've been a couple of times people ask me, so what was the best thing for you? What is your best memory? I'm always saying that one of the best things that these guys they did for me is that they brought the human back. They brought this human back because we grew up, all of us. We grew up in a completely different society where, and we take so many things for granted. We at some point we end up being arrogant and selfish, and we just somehow we end up not caring about the rest. But being with them again, being with the people, with the Waorani in this case, and living with them and realizing this understanding of seeing things. Let me tell you, this is a funny thing. I don't know if I can add this, but it's just a funny thing. It's cute and funny. All right. It happens that one of the first times, probably you got the same experience, Harold, you too, Gabo. But it's one of the first times that I started to get into Waorani territory. And I was kind of anxious, like waiting for the to see the place where I was going. We were heading to a village, and every time that I was like, okay, so how long? And these guys that were like 3 turns in the river, right? 3 turns. All right, so I'm like, okay, 3 turns. That's perfect, no problem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 20. And I was like, okay, so I asked again, how long? And you know what was the answer again? Three
Three.
turns. You know what I, you know, you know what I realized? Time. We care so much about time. But these guys are like it's an, it's a society created by Einstein. Time and space is totally relative. See, so that's for me. It's see how you're smiling with that. It's just the beauty of being unique and special in that way. And now, please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're like naive and no, it's not like that. They're humans, and all of us we have we have our failures and we have our positive things and our negative things. But what I'm saying is that understanding, that way of seeing things. We see nature and we get amazed when we were canoeing on that river, guys. You see these packs of peccaries, so you are like, wow, these guys, they thinking food. See the way again. See, that's great. That's amazing that they are different in that way. That for me, that's what I love the most about these guys. And that's what I should care. That's what I will do, and I will care about protecting them.
Right.
Mhm.
Thanks for sharing that, Jorge. That was
Thank you.
cool.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I they have everything that they need. Like a lot of the people's, at least from Western mindset or yeah, or civilized mindset, or you say
Yeah.
they're poor, and it's
Oh
not
yeah.
like that. They have absolutely everything. They have more than we have. That's what I think that from my point of view, I that's
Mm.
how I felt whenever I had like a good when I was spending a lot of time with them. That's the
Mhm.
idea that I have. They just have everything that they need, and they were happy and like
Yeah.
cool. That's why uh, aborigine is makes no sense because they have more origin than anybody else.
Oh,
You
of
know?
course. That's what
And
I'm
that's
saying. They
that's
should be.
awesome. And you remind me of a client that I have once back when I was guiding. We were
Mhm.
talking about uncontacted tribes, and he really thought that that he was. I'm happy with. He said, "I'm happy with driving with my Mercedes and all the accommodations of my daily life. Why don't we contact them so we can give them this, you know?" And it's like for me it was unbelievable to hear this from someone that came
Mhm.
to visit the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was in shock, and it says like, first of all, I not everybody needs a Mercedes and all those
Oh,
commodities to be happy, and they do have everything that they want. They're just fine. So that's why these people are so dangerous. And missionaries, for example, they just think that their way of being, the way they are, is better than the rest, and it's kind of like absolute. I don't know. Does it make sense to you guys what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense that we have a completely different understanding of life. We have different sets of values compared to them. So when we want to help, we want to help people who is in pain, who is in despair, who people who has no future. So, and we see usually that is the case that usually is applied to local people, to native people, that if they don't have clothing the same brand that we are used to, they are considered poor. Or if they don't have the same technology that we have for using the land, we consider them poor, and so on. And we can go back over the history, and that would be the case. You will see that an indigenous people on the Andes, they are pretty happy living next to the Paramo, next to the volcanoes there. and they are doing their farming the way they're done it for thousands of years. So, but the way that we think that the world should be is not usually the case that can be applied in every single part of the world because each human group has found their own ways to to solve these daily challenges like finding food, finding spirituality, finding the way to communicate, finding the way to understand where they live and what it makes the most sense of it. So definitely, yeah, I can see when we've been leading trips and we can see our people are going with us and they are poor. Yeah, that's the first impression they got.
That's
But
yeah.
once they visit them, once they have shared time with the local people, after a while they will find out that this is people full of life. There is nothing they are missing to their life. They have happiness. They can go to bed every day with their belly full of food. They have shared time with the elderly over the fire, and they have shared stories that so every day they are learning and sharing and living this community. So when people having this tremendous contact with indigenous people or local people in the forest or any region, they go back to their regular lives but completely changed because they have seen people they are truly happy.
Indeed, indeed they are, and we people like us, uh, we're just lucky, very lucky to have an experience a little bit of that. Um, because they're just awesome people. Just they're the best people there is actually, and to think otherwise, I think it's just a matter of ignorance. Another, if you allow me, guys, another thing that came in to my mind, like you already mentioned it, Harold. I think is the library that we have in the forest already, and they know it. Like science, how much like 50, it's only 15% of what is going on in the rainforest, in the Amazon rainforest only, right? And maybe they I'm sure they know more. What was it like? I think I read an article once that they discovered a new species of tapir somewhere, and the indigenous people were like, yeah, we knew, yes, it's around. They already knew, they
Yeah,
were like,
yeah,
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 new
We
yeah.
eat
species.
It's
them.
there.
And
It's
I was like,
there.
yeah,
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 We eat
yeah. You
them.
haven't seen it.
beautiful, yeah.
You haven't seen it. Yeah. No, it's just
But they,
yeah.
and that's just about the animals. They have the language again. It's just the names that they have for everything. And
Dude, that's true symbiosis. I cannot talk. I'm talking. I'm very specific right now, and I'm talking about Waurani. That's freaking symbiosis, man. It's just the way how these guys they walk in the jungle, man. They are part of the jungle. They are the jungle. They are the jungle.
they're very cool. They're very cool.
Every time, uh, talking. Me, I'm the one that comes with the how do you say, with the memories or stories. Um, I remember once that people that were talking. We were watching one of these, survival silly things on TV. Like I can't remember this shit. And you're supposed to bring something, right? And one guy say, I want to carry a machete. And I was like, if I will be there, I would ask for one thing and one thing only. And you know what is that? Give me a Warani. Exactly. So, yeah, yeah. That's. I mean, it's again. It's for me. It's that thing. These guys, they know. They have a GPS. I don't know. It's just. It's. Dude. It's ballet. Seeing
Right.
these guys walking in the forest. They're so graceful, so gentle. This being part of a hunting party. It's just amazing, man. I mean, and again, uh, everybody is not is obviously this is not for everybody, and not and the point is not to encourage everybody to go and live that lifestyle. But again, to have them, to preserve, to protect them, is It's a way to understand that that freedom, you can have it at every level. It's just, it's a mental stage, guys, at the end of the day. So that's for me, that's what it, again, without taking value of the things that you said, the library and everything and that, it's just a way to apply that simplicity and that way of understanding things in our life. I'm always saying that these guys are very zen people. They're like the most, these guys are loaded with philosophy, man. They just don't know. They
Right.
just know, yeah, it's like chill out. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Chill out. I mean, it's like that. It's the chill out society, right? And I just love that. After being with them, I moved in a surf town. You know that, right? And I was living in this surf town, man. And of course, keeping the distances, but it's being, I don't know. I feel like I was I was a Warani in the by the ocean, man. No, sitting with my surfboard, waiting for the wave. Oh, that's the perfect. We get in the water. It's like that. And
That
again,
is
you
so
don't have
cool,
to.
huh?
Yeah, they're so cool, man. You don't have to leave your comfort to be cool. I'm not. Again, you can be like them. It's just the way how you understand things. That they're important things, and these things are not possessions. Like the Mercedes that guy told you, if he's happy with that, that's okay. It's cool. I don't mind. It's that's his thing. I'd rather a Volkswagen Combi, right? But
I
see,
ride a bicycle.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm.
I know.
Yeah, you see exactly, right? But that's what I'm saying. You can reach that level of it being in peace, man. It's being in peace. That's what thing that these guys they have. That's why they you cannot. I'm always saying you cannot erase that smile from that face. Now, very they can be the other side. Don't forget that they can be quite violent if you push them to be violent. Though they're not violent by nature, they're not violent per se. But if you push them into that side, they can also, like any other
Yeah,
human being.
it would seem to me like the bad side of them, it was brought from our
I,
society at first. You know, everything that
yeah,
bad that
that's
they
the
have, it was brought from
yeah.
us at first.
I think I had this conversation. I think it was with you, Harold, and I- it's not. I don't like to do definitions, but somehow I see that the what we got, the people that we do not know them for real, like us. But at the beginning, at first sight, I remember the first time that I was going into Guarani territory, I was freaked out. I thought, okay, you know what? This is it. These guys, they're going to, spear me. They're going to chop my head. They're going to do some stew with me. Because that was the way you were reading always negative things about them. So it's not, it's also talking about going again to this topic of the conservation of the protect, or to protect the society. We should start from the very from the very base that it's not only about us. It should be an state thing, a government thing. There should be laws to they are laws to protect them, but those laws they don't apply. You know
Right.
that. We know that, right?
Quoting Pink
But they
Floyd,
should
to
be.
united we stand, divided we fall. Pink
Yeah,
Floyd,
but
man.
we should start by that. We should start by, showing these good, positive and negative aspects, like any other society. This is the good thing of us. This is the bad thing of us, right? Um, yeah. Sorry.
Yes. Yes, united we stand because we are in this together. We are all in the same planet.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
by dooming
yeah.
the people that protect their forests, which we need to survive, we're also dooming ourselves again,
Yeah,
right?
imagine how boring it would be if all of us will eat the same McDonald crap and dude, this is so unique to be able to understand, and there's different people, and they're amazing in the way of understanding things. Yeah, again, another reason to protect them, right?
Right, right,
Uh-huh.
yes, and this is what we want to do with these kind of talks because we do want to spread this environmental awareness, and these people are part of it as for sure, and we need to keep on spreading this knowledge because these people clearly don't seem to care about them. So that's why we're here because they are crucial people. So our own survival also is crucial. Uh, their
Yeah,
survival is crucial to ourselves as well, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, guys, and we're almost out of time. But before I talking about the stories and how cool they are, like they are very cool. And I remember I was in the forest with them. You want to say something, Gerald? You go for it.
Yeah, I wanna share something I learned the other day, and is I was having a talk with some people who is studying how plants, how we end up having bananas or how we end up having tomatoes, right? So and one of the things that we were talking about and is the colors. You, there is in the language of native people, especially the ones that are living in the Amazon, there is not one color name. Imagine which color doesn't have a name.
Green.
Green. So green is everywhere. So
Yeah,
green
green.
doesn't have a color. So is that beautiful?
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah,
that's
that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
great. Yeah,
That's all I
Hey,
want
okay, it's
to
right.
we have
share.
so many
That's
stories.
great. That's
We're gonna
great.
have to
That's
make
so.
a second part of these guys because there's just so much to say about this. We're gonna have to make a.
Yeah,
We only have 2 minutes left, so we definitely have to go make a second part. There's so many topics to cover. Also, we haven't talked about uncontacted tribes yet. For example, whoa,
Oh
that's a
shit,
yeah.
yes.
huge another subject there. Well, we haven't covered many other things. We have more stories about them. uh, I real quick before we leave, I remember we were in the forest with a bunch of friends just exploring our first Guarani villages, and we got lost. We didn't know, but our guide Eweme, he the soil, he touched the soil and says, "We are lost." And I thought like, damn. First of all, that's very cool that you figured out that we are lost. That's awesome. And then then I was, of course, worried. Okay, we're lost. But he said, okay, no worries. It's gonna be fine. And it was. It's just so many cool stories to share, guys. And yes, I thank you guys for being here, Jorge, Fabre. Maybe we can have you again in one of our talks again, and
Sure, my
also
pleasure,
you,
man.
Harold Fernando.
Come
We are
in.
gonna have Harold Fernando as much as we can because he's also just very knowledgeable. As much as we can in every talk. Don't be scared, Harold. Support us. Yes. So yeah, thank
He's
you very
the
much for watching. If
he
you want to
he's
be
the
part
walking
of the
forest.
huh
He's the walking forest. That little guy.
that guy, yeah,
Oh,
He's
he's
the
awesome.
walking. He's
He,
the walking forest. Yeah.
yes, guys, that's totally true. He
Mhm.
is like
Yes.
like
no, no,
a
I'm
forest
still
with
learning.
legs, pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
I'm
share
still
this
learning.
share this talk because we want to reach as many people as we can to bring good, to bring knowledge, to bring environmental awareness. So share this video to your friends if you like it. If you didn't like it, share it to your enemies. They also need to know. If you want to have any comment below. If you want to participate in one of these talks, if you have